Welcome back, YouTube, to another character creation video, and this is part 2 of our Guardian series. So we rolled a 64 on the table on our random number generator, and thanks to Ashes of Creation's class table, what that ends you up at is the very last section in the bottom corner, and that is a Guardian, which is double down on tank. So our first one we found out that tanks could be evasion tanks, control tanks, or just general tanky tanks. So you kind of have 3 different options when you're playing a tank. So that gives us 3 different options while we're building a tank. So this time, the last one we made, we went with an evasion tank, a Valoon, Middle Eastern inspired, dancing dervish style evasion tank, which was really cool to do. It was just different. I've never really made a tank that was like that. So kind of working through that was really fun. However, on this time, I just really wanted to go all in on Guardian and like tank. So we decided we would go with, boom, the Dunit. Kind of your classic fantasy dwarf in the world of Era, right? Just dwarf. I can't even do anything more than that. Just hardcore dwarf. And we're going to use that for our guardian this time around. So we'll make a female. You know what? I'm going to just do 2 males this time because I'm just looking at this dude's face and I want to do it. Male guardian, and he is a Oh, I'm spelling it phonetically. My bad. Dunit male guardian. All right, now that we've got the Dunit male guardian, guardian is tank, and let me see how they worded shield tank. That's how they worded it. So he is going to be a shield tank. All right, so now we have a misspelled shield. It's right in front of me. How did I do that? All right, so now we've got a misspelled shield. I said it again. So now we've got our male guardian, a Dunit, tank on tank action. So they've got a Nordic inspiration. So let's just make it easy. Let's do Nordic male names. Let's see if we can find a cool Nordic name. Bjorn. I love it. I love it. We gotta do Bjorn. He's the armored bear. We gotta do Bjorn. I'm sorry. Can't not do it. Is that right? B-J-O-R-N. Yeah, I don't know how to do the. All right. So we got Bjorn. I love it. I just love saying it. But I don't like it that much. Stop, Bjorn. Okay. So the stoic traditional forge. So now we've got like your iconic dwarven fantasy dwarf. Shorter, absolutely muscular, bulky all hell, and he's not just a tank, he's a tank primary, tank secondary, so think Guardian. Heavy. This is going to be like your traditional iron ball of dwarf, right? And I don't know if you can do it in Ashes of Creation, but from a creative standpoint, I've always, because it's really hard to do in a lot of role-playing games, always just liked the idea of a tank who just uses 2 shields. That's it. Like 2 shields or just 1 big shield, not really a weapon, like an open hand and a weapon or a shield or 2 shields. Maybe they're 2 smaller shields that he can lock together like this to make a bigger shield. I don't know. It obviously, like, unwieldy, most likely. It wouldn't work in anywhere but a fantasy world. But I do like the idea of it, and since I like the idea of it, let's fucking do it. So we're going to put dual shields, right? I've only ever seen this done in a couple of like anime or cartoons, and obviously it just doesn't make sense. But I don't care. This is my fantasy world, and I want to do it. You know? You know? All right, so now we've got our Dunit Guardian, which is tank on tank, right? Tank on tank action. You usually get charged double for that kind of thing. All right, so we got our Guardian, and he is a Dunit. So we came up with the name Bjorn, which just means bear in Nordic. Reason being, Dunirs are Nordic inspired. Which is funny because in my head, am I the only one that ever makes all dwarves Irish or Scottish? I think it's Scottish. I always make them all Scottish in my head. I don't know why. I don't know what fantasy world, whether it's a book or a show or what, made all dwarves in my head Scottish. And I don't know why. But they are. So it's really hard for me to go with the Dunit when they are Nordic inspired. And then what's the other one? The Nikuna? The other dwarves, they're more island and Polynesian inspired. So my Scottish dwarf aesthetic in my mind that's been there for years is just wrong when it comes to Vera and the world of Ashes of Creation. So, all right, so we got Bjorn, which means bear in Nordic. And we're saying he's going to use dual shields. So I almost want to figure out what we could do for his last name. Putting shield in his last name, seems too on the nose. Maybe something about being a wall, but that could also be a nickname. So, you know, you could almost call him like Stout, because that Stout as in a strong dark beer. I like where this is going. I really like where this is going. Bjorn something Stout. Stout something is the last name. You know, beard is a cop-out. Not really what I want to go with. Stoutshield. I guess. It doesn't really... Bjorn Stoutshield. Yeah. Stout defense. No. Stoutshield seems like it could be a family name, I guess. I mean, I can't stop Bjorn Stoutshield. Seems so on the nose that he would then use 2 shields, and he's technically a shield tank. Then we put shield on his last name. Is that too on the nose? Is that too obvious? Feels too obvious. But I feel like I'm doing it. I mean, I did Iron Sand on the last guy. It made sense. I don't like it that much, but it made sense. Okay, let me put it this way. In the last video, when I did the evasion tank, the Valoon, and in this video where I'm doing the Bjorn Stoutshield, I would love nothing more than suggestions because my brain is just not doing brain things, and I can't come up with a better last name. This seems too on the nose. If it's not, you can let me know that too, and we'll keep Stoutshield. But if it is, and you can come up with a way better last name for this guy, I would love it. Because I usually like the last names to kind of highlight what the character is or does. So, Stout, I'm cool with, because dwarves are, in fact, short and stout, muscular. Stout is a strong, dark beer. Bitter kind of just keeps going with the strong theme that I would think of when I think tank. And then shield, for obvious fucking reasons. He's a shield tank, and I want him to use 2 shields. 2 on the nose? I don't know. Help me out, either in Twitch chat or in the YouTube chat comments down below. I am open to suggestions. Alright, so we've got Bjorn Stoutshield. Now we need a name. We need like a really cool... What about just the Drunken Wall? So now apparently I want him to be drunk? Why are dwarves suddenly just alcoholics? I mean, feels racist. feels fantasy racist. The Drunken Wall. I like the bulwark, the Drunken Bulwark. Is that the right word for like a wall and a siege? Is that right? Bjorn Stoutshield, the Drunken Bulwark. The Drunken Wall sounds better. Ooh, what about the Impenetrable? I can't spell. Leave me alone. Please. Oh God, why? I don't even know how to say. Okay. All right, we'll put it in Google, and Google will tell me since Impenetrable. Help me. Yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for, Google. Can you help me out, please? Can you not? There it is. Impenetrable. How far off was I, chat? Was I really far off? Like, really far off? Pretty far off. Or the Impervious Drunk? Oh, that sounds even better. Right? Impervious means, hold on. I use words that I assume I know exactly what they mean. Not allowing fluid to pass through. Unable to be affected by. Apparently impervious to the heat. The Impervious Drunk. Fluid's passing through his body all the time, so impervious might be the wrong word. But we're doing it. Oh, the Immortal Drunk? Nah, it seems more... We're going to go impervious, because I can't think of a better word. Alright, so we have the male guardian Dunit. Bjorn Stoutshield, the Impervious Drunk. He's going to use 2 shields. So when I think about the flavor of a character, so the Impervious Drunk. So Bjorn started in the military. Started as frontliner, shield, right? Maybe he got sent out on an expedition outside of the mountains. Wasn't a drunk at the time. Was simply a shield. Wasn't strong enough. Wasn't sturdy enough. Wasn't able to take as much damage, or he wasn't able to protect his friends. Not really weighed down on him. Perhaps he was one of the very few that survived his expedition. So then we get Bjorn coming back. While alive, while not all his fault, because it was in fact a large-scale attack, they actually went out valiantly, fended off the attack. The battle, him and another survivor come back. There is no dishonor. It's only honor in the fact that they had survived this massive attack, and that two of them were able to come back. Maybe the objective was secured, whatever it was, and they come back surviving it. They are getting accolades and what have you because they succeeded in the mission. However, Bjorn feels some ridiculous amount of depression or resent for the fact that he wasn't strong enough. He wasn't able to be a big enough shield to protect his friends. So come in this like depressed, now he's always working out more. He's always drinking. Starts becoming a drunk, but he continues to work out and try to improve himself. And at some point, he decides to pick up another shield. In his drunken state, the only way he can become a better shield or a better protector is to have two shields, because one shield, not enough. Two shields, maybe enough. So he picks up that second shield. So now we've got our tank and tank. So not in story, he hit level 25 and he took tank secondary, so now he is a guardian. So in the story, Bjorn picks up his second shield because, again, he's not necessarily the most logical mind. He's been drinking a lot because of being depressed. Everybody keeps trying to praise him and tell him how great he is and how he succeeded in this almost impossible mission, and he came back alive, while they're doing nothing but trying to tell him how great of a person he is or how great of a soldier he is. He is just weighed down with the depression of losing all of his comrades. So all of this, on top of just drinking all the time out of depression because of what I just mentioned, not necessarily in his right mind. So in this not exactly logical mindset, he decides the only way to become better at protecting people is to not only have one shield, but have two shields. So he picks up the second shield, right? And then he takes tank as a secondary. And now he's decided that he is, in fact, the best shield he can be by having two of them. And then we end up with Bjorn Stoutshield. And now he is on the front line, using his shields to push the enemies back, protect allies, usually drunk on the battlefield, losing a lot of his honor. However, people just can't argue with his results. He doesn't let people pass him. Very few, if any, enemies get past him when he's on the front line. So then that gave way to his nickname, the Impervious Drunk. What do you think, guys? YouTube, Twitch chat? That was kind of just off the top of my head. It just kind of kept flowing. I had somebody ask if I write this stuff out beforehand. Obviously not, since I can't even use the right words. I do not. I'm just trying to shoot this off the top of my head. That's why I do these long form videos, so that you guys can kind of see the process. Not because I think it's terribly interesting to the majority of people, but for the people like me that really enjoy character creation and really enjoy giving life to a role-playing character, maybe at some point, if I talk out my thought process and how I come up with ideas and what have you, it could help you in your endeavors when it comes to creating a role-playing character, whether it be for Intrepid Studios' Ashes of Creation, which I hope it is, because I hope the game is so fucking successful that everybody's doing it, or whether it be if you're role-playing on a tabletop or post by post, like in a forum, whatever way you're doing it, even if it's not necessarily D&D or fantasy focused, if it's sci-fi, if it's, I don't really know what you would call, like werewolf, white wolf, vampire, all that stuff, whatever those ones are, mutants and masterminds, like whatever role-playing system you're in, some of the ways that I come up with names or try to weave together stories might be some sort of inspiration to you, and I really hope it is. That's why I like to do these long-form videos. I also do them because then at the end, what I'll do is I'll take this little, what seems like a Cliff Notes version of our creation session, and I will do like a short-form video that's like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 3.5 minutes, and just go over real quick like how we came up with Bjorn Stoutshield, Why we named him the Impervious Drunk. Why does he use 2 shields? That's super dumb. Because I fucking wanted him to. That's why. You know, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun for me. And what this is doing for me is helping my creative juices get flowing. I'm hoping that I'm able to be a part of Alpha 2 or just be a part of the content creator game. And if I can get access to the character creator, I will go through and I will character create all of the characters that we come up with. And that'll be a lot of fun content for me. Playing with that character creator and actually making the characters to match the story and the stuff we come up with. So guys, thanks again for hanging out with me and checking out this YouTube video for our male guardian, our male Dunit Guardian, Bjorn Stoutshield, the Impervious Tank. Thanks for sticking around.